Okay. Hi.
Okay, welcome to. Is this night 1 or night 13?
Are we counting down?
I don't know.
I don't know.
This is night 19 out of 31.
Ooh, spoopy. First video. Technically second video.
Yeah. First movie we watched
First movie.
was Clown.
Mm-hmm.
And it is definitely a movie that came out in 2014.
I don't remember what year it came out. It was a jovial romp.
I'm going to do a jump cut to when I know when it came out. 2014.
You were right the first time.
Okay.
I have notes because I'm prepared.
I did not take notes because I can remember things.
I have a terrible memory. Okay.
Because you're smoking them jazz cigarettes.
I don't even know what that is. You're so fucking old.
So yeah, we watched Clown. And to get it out of the way, overall, what do you think of Clown?
Like I said before, it was a jovial romp with an appropriate amount of gore and some good acting and some not so great acting.
Some fucking terrible acting.
Yeah, it was bad.
Not
Not the whole movie, just that one actor.
I don't know that jovial's really an appropriate word for a movie about a clown that murders children.
Yeah, I thought it was jovial.
Okay.
I had a good laugh.
Well, we don't like children that
No.
much, I guess, so.
Fuck kids.
Yay!
But don't fuck kids.
Don't fuck kids.
Wow, that's really... What? Oh.
Charles Adams Soul Lang around.
Oh,
they
no.
Dar if.
Who has a
remember.
clown suit just laying around? They don't remember. Okay. Who the fuck has a clown suit laying around that they don't remember about? But then I was like, oh, this isn't his house. He's
Okay.
stealing.
Okay, so the movie starts out that this mother is in. There's a birthday party in progress for their little kid, and they're supposed to have a clown coming, but the clown cancels because they double booked. And they actually use the line in the movie, "Who double books a clown?"
Who double books a clown?
Which is a valid point. Also, who books a clown?
Mm-mm.
But so she calls the dad, who is a real estate agent, who is at a house that he's, I guess, getting ready to renovate. Well, he's like renovating the house. He's overseeing renovations of the house.
Realtors don't do that.
That's not the realtor's job.
No, unless he's like flipping houses. He's like realtor/flipper.
I guess. But anyway, I mean, they did have a pretty nice house. Maybe
Yeah.
they're making big bank on real estate.
Yeah.
But so he's like, you know what? I got this. There's a lot of weird clothing in this house that isn't mine. I'll just steal some of it and be the clown. So he's trying to find something. He doesn't find anything that really works.
he put a
looks
mop
ridiculous.
on his head.
Yeah, it's bad. But then he finds this trunk that has this old leather clown suit in it, and he thinks, this is a great idea to put on. I'm not in a horror movie or anything. And so he puts it on and he goes and does the birthday party.
Yeah.
As Dumbo the Clown.
As Dumbo the Clown.
Dumbo.
Okay, I guess my first note would have made more sense if I had read the second note. Is this even his house just going through people's shit? And also, no kid likes clowns. They keep trying to justify the kid had a clown birthday party, but no kids like clowns.
No, kids haven't liked clowns since, like, the 1950s.
Yeah, no, clowns are scary now because we decided to make them scary.
I feel like clowns were always a little bit scary. Because you
Oh.
talk to people who went to, like, the circus back in the 50s, and they're like, the clowns scared the fuck out of me, and I cried.
Yeah. Also, I wrote gator pants. I was like...
Because that's what it was actually made out of. This was a
Yeah.
fairly low-budget movie. It
So-
cost about $1.5 million to make, which is actually no money.
Yeah, so...
Directed by...
Eli Roth was just a producer.
Was he?
Yeah, he was
Okay.
not the director.
If he was the director, the thing you wanted to happen would have happened.
Yes.
Okay.
Which we'll get to in a minute.
And we'll get to it.
But, I was just found this human skin clown suit and thought it was okay to put it on.
Well, he didn't know it was human skin, but it was something's skin. It was leather of some type.
I had then, so after the party, the wife's like, oh, I'm gonna give you a treat. She, like, hops on his lap, and I'm like, are you gonna fuck in the clown suit?
But no, they're not, because she's like, you take that off and I'll fuck you.
Yeah, and then he just passes out on the couch instead. But then...
She doesn't wake him up either. She's just like, well, motherfucker fell asleep. I guess we're not doing anything.
Guess we're not boning. But also, he had to then take his kid to school dressed as a clown.
He doesn't really attempt to take it off.
No, he doesn't try that hard.
He, like, tries to wash the makeup off, and it doesn't really work, which would be the case if you were wearing grease paint. You're not just going to put your face in the sink and the paint's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So he's just like, whatever, I guess I'm taking you to school like a clown.
Yeah. So he has to go to work dressed as a clown. And he decides to, at that point, try to get the clown suit off after the stereotypical Mexican laborers make fun of him.
Yeah. No, I mean, the movie doesn't just depict them as people that he picked up at, like, Home Depot.
No.
They're contractors
Yeah.
that he's hired to do this work. But they're like, the dude's name's Miguel, who's leading the crew.
I was waiting for them to
which
throw
is, again, it's not an unpopular name.
I just
Miguel,
thought it was kind of stereotypical.
It was, very much so. And they made fun of him in Spanish profanity.
Yeah.
I only caught a little snippet of what they actually said because my Spanish isn't that great, but I know some swear words and they used them.
So he finds a knife in this house and he tries to cut the suit off of him by putting the knife under
it's like a carpet
his
knife.
wrist. And so he slices his wrist open. And at that point you should just go to the hospital if you slice your wrist open.
Mm-hmm. But he wraps it up with, like, toilet paper.
Yeah, and then goes and grabs a fucking, like, electric saw and shoves it down his throat.
It's like a power handsaw.
And he, like, shoves it into the suit. And he says, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, that's the line from the movie. This is a bad idea. And then he does it. And it breaks the saw.
Yeah, it breaks the saw. And at this point, he's just like, oh, well, fuck, I guess I'm not getting this suit off.
What you should be saying is there's something goddamn supernatural going on here. A saw can cut through leather.
Yeah. I just had racist grandpa written down next.
Oh, because the wife's dad comes over in the middle of the night to put together a swing set in the backyard for no reason and doesn't tell anybody he's doing it. And scares the shit out of the lady. And,
it was a very suspenseful moment.
Not really. It was not a moment that worked in the
No.
movie. But then, like, he's like, bitching about the swing set, and he's like, instructions are in fucking Chinese.
Yeah, okay, that's why I had racist. See,
Yes.
you're better at remembering things. This is why I write things down.
Yeah.
So he goes to a costume shop then to try and find out what the hell's going on.
He goes to the, like...
Party City.
Yeah. He goes to the local, like, Spirit Halloween store and asks the teenager who doesn't give a shit behind the counter what's up with this clearly ridiculously old and fucking not natural leather clown suit. And she's like, appropriately, I have no fucking idea. Why are you here?
But for some reason, she had a directory of people who were interested in weird shit.
Yeah.
She brings
They
out
have
this,
those.
like, this book.
They keep one of those behind the counter at every Spirit Halloween.
And so he gets the name of this guy who seems like he seems a little eccentric.
When he finds the guy because the trunk that had the costume in it had the initials on
Yeah,
it.
it had his initials
And
on it.
that same, like, logo for the initials was in the ad in
Yeah.
that directory. So he, like, fucking rips the page out and walks away. And the teenage girl at the Spirit Halloween store is like, whatever, I'm glad you left.
Yeah.
I love that moment.
Well, when he calls the guy, though, he picks up, like, a brick phone. It's like a brick flip phone. I wrote down,
Yeah.
do brick phones even still work? Like, unflipped it, pulled the antenna up, and answered the phone.
I think that it's possible that some of them may still work on certain carriers.
Oh, man, then we need to get one.
But this movie just came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that was a little weird.
Extremely weird.
I thought it was kind of funny. So, And then as he's hanging up the phone, you get this cool little, like, evil blood in the hand, vein pumping blood, and that was kind of cool. We both were like, oh,
yeah, there are
subtle.
some good subtle effects in this movie. The makeup work and the costumes were on point.
Yeah.
They were good. And I hope to God that's where they spent the $1.5 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure this was shot on video. They didn't spend it on film stock and developing.
No.
This was shot on video, and I have to say, not particularly well.
No. So, he rolls up to the nicest looking warehouse I've ever seen.
There were window treatments in that wall.
There were windows.
The warehouse.
There was windows.
There were windows, and they had panes of glass in them.
So he's like, the dude's guy, he's eccentric, so he's like hiding to build some suspense.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh hey, I got a pot of tea on.
He's hiding to be a fucking weirdo. Like, he's standing among mannequins and shit, and this guy's walking in, clearly nervous and scared out of his mind, and he's like, hello? Is somebody there? And the teapot starts whistling, and it's so suspenseful, and then he just, like, walks out from the background, and he's like, hey, and, like, touches his arm.
He says, I didn't want to scare you.
I didn't want to scare you!
I also forgot to mention when they were on the phone, that bullshit excuse he gave about why he couldn't get the costume off. He's like, oh, it's the old fabric. The
moisture and the heat from your skin.
It makes it shrink.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
And the guy's like, oh, good, I'm not going crazy.
I liked that he's on the phone with the guy, and the guy's like, he's describing this trunk and the costume to the guy, and he's like, whatever you do not touch that costume. It's very old and delicate. And he's like, I'm wearing it, and the guy's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
You need to come to my warehouse.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, how are we going to get this suit off? And he starts explaining to him the history of clowns.
Yeah. And midway through him explaining the history of where the clown came from, which I don't think is historically accurate.
No.
And by the way, both of the clown movies we're going to watch for this series of videos try to explain where clowns came from. The other movie does a much better job of it with a much less believable story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, but they were talking about an evil Nordic demon that eats children, one for every month.
Cloyne? I think it was the Cloyne.
The Cloyne.
And people forgot about the Cloyne, and it became the clown, and it became this goofy character, because that's what happens.
Yeah, but he would steal the village children and lure them into his cave, so he had
5 of them.
Food for the winter, because I guess winter's only 5 months there, which I feel like it would be longer. And for some reason, the Cloyne has a penis horn. It looked like a dick growing out of its head. It was a very poor drawing of a demon clown.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so costumes and makeup, thumbs up. This is not a thumbs up. This is thumbs up. Prop design, not always on point in this movie. I mean, yeah, I mean...
The sets were good because they were like houses.
It was houses.
So it was like believable that you would.
Yeah, there weren't any sets that were going to be expensive because again, this movie only cost $1.5 million.
Yeah, and like the costuming was just great. And we'll get to the acting in a minute. I wrote down at 23 minutes at 45 seconds is when shit gets real.
Yeah, because...
If you want to just skip ahead to that. I say, listen to what we have to say so far, because we just talked about the intro, and just go watch it from that point, because from there...
We did the setup just now.
Really good.
It's... Well, see, here's the thing. It's interesting up to that point, because you're like, okay, I see where this is going. There's something evil about this clown costume. At... What was it, 23 minutes and 45 seconds? The dude tries to cut off the guy's head.
Because he drugged him with the tea.
He made him some tea, he drugged him. He's passed out. Then the guy, like, puts him on a table and, like, waits for him to come to, and then he's like, sorry, I have to kill you now. And then the guy fights back because he didn't just do it while he was unconscious.
Well, he did say, oh shit, do you want some more tea? You were supposed to be asleep
Do
through
you
this.
want some more? I missed that.
No,
That's awesome.
He's like, the tea should have knocked you out for longer. Do you want some more? Because I have to kill you right now.
Yeah, he's like, decapitation is the only way to stop the demon.
But he tries to do it with a cleaver. Which you
like
can't...
just like a butcher's cleaver.
Yeah, you're not going to cut through anyone's spine with that. I've tried. Well, not a person.
Not a person.
Not a person.
But Casey went to culinary school. She's done some butchering work. She's done her fair share of butching. Cleaver, not gonna get through his spine.
Nope. And he uses his super clown strength that the suit has given him to break free from the table.
He does have super strength now.
Yeah, he just gets super strength.
Which I feel like might be an okay trade-off.
Yeah.
Because we find out, of course, that the only other way besides killing the dude that's wearing the suit to stop this is to have the demon kill 5 children.
Yeah.
And then he can take the suit off and everything goes back to normal.
But you don't find
Except
that
5
out
kids
until
are dead.
like 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah, that was a little bit... I feel like they should have introduced that aspect sooner.
Yeah. Soon after he escapes, so he escapes and he gets back to his house. And he's like, and so I guess his wife and his father-in-law and some of their friends are there.
Yeah.
For some reason, and he's like walking around with like blood all over him because he got cleaved in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Because creepy warehouse guy has terrible aim. And they're like, "You're fucking crazy." And he's like, "No, look, I got this crazy guy in the car that tried to kill me." And they're
he's like, "This guy tried to kill me," and they're like, "Who tried to kill you?" And it cuts to them going outside, and the guy's trapped in the backseat of the car.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't talk about when his wife tried to pull the fucking nose off. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, did that happen before this?
Yeah, it did. That was like right after he realized that.
So his wife is a dental assistant.
Yeah.
And she uses her dental tools.
Oh, yeah, no, because that go to hospital was not about cutting his wrist open.
It was about getting the nose off.
the nose pulled off.
Or just in general. At this point, you should be going to the hospital. But yeah, she tries to pull the nose off. And she does, but it's actually his actual nose at this. Like, the clown nose has, like, become part of his body. So she just rips off the tip of his nose.
Yeah, but also she's a dental assistant, and she just whips out, like, a kit of, like stainless steel medical tools. Mm-hmm. And then just gets, like, some clamps and just rips it off. And he's, like, obviously in pain. Like, you could tell that it was going to take some stuff off with it. And she just kept going.
The other thing is, we don't actually find out that she's a dental assistant until near the end of the movie.
Yeah, because you only see her do that, and she goes, "I do this every day," and she's in scrubs
she's like,
when she
"This is
leaves.
what I do." She says, "This is what I do. Stay calm, honey. This is what I do." When she's going to pull the nose off, and I'm like, "You fucking pull people's noses off? That's what you do?" Because none of this has been explained. And so we were assuming, okay, so she's a surgeon of some kind.
Yeah.
No, she's a dental assistant.
Well, I guess soon after the point where everyone's like, "You're crazy," he throws up for the first time. Because he keeps trying to eat food.
He throws up onto his windshield.
Yeah, and it's rainbow.
It's rainbow colored, which is hilarious.
Which it is really funny. But also I was like, well, he did eat all that birthday cake when he was hungry at home. So I was like, that'll make you throw up funny colors.
And that was weird, too, because it seemed like they were trying to set up that if you're possessed by the clown demon, you only eat junk food like you would get at the carnival.
Yeah.
So he's eating, like, cereal and cake and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the demon actually just eats children.
Yeah.
So that wasn't very consistent.
So he's driving with the crazy man because his wife is like, "We're calling the police," and then his friend tries to grab him, and he just like breaks his fucking arm.
Yeah, he just like takes his arm to get it away from him and just breaks it.
Because he is
like celery.
Crazy clown strength now.
Yeah, clowns are super strong.
And so he's driving, and he's got the crazy guy in the back, and then the crazy guy tries to choke him with something and tries to kill him, so they're swerving on the road, dramatic driving scene.
Like you do.
And he ends up crashing.
My nose is itchy.
Talking about noses, now your nose is itchy?
Yeah.
So this guy starts, So this guy stops because he sees them crash, and there's children in the back of the car, and at that point you're like, oh shit, he's hungry for children because his stomach has been growling this whole time. And it's like super growly when he looks at the kids.
Well, and when he sees the kids, he's like,
You're
oh no.
like-
So he
like,
runs off into the
"No."
woods because he's still basically got control. And so he wants to get away from the kids because he doesn't want to actually eat them.
No, not yet. So...
Oh, and then the crazy guy, after the crash, is like, kill yourself.
Yeah.
He's like, you need to kill...
yourself.
Like, he's like disabled by the accident, but he's like, kill yourself before...
At this point, we jump back to his wife at home with the son, and they're worried, and Grandpa's there, and he's trying to rationalize the situation, like, oh, maybe, he went crazy, hormone imbalance, some shit.
Yeah, or is he doing drugs?
Yeah, he's like...
I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I would think in this situation.
Yeah.
I think dude's on drugs or something.
So Grandpa's trying to rationalize it, and the little kid's like, does Daddy hate us? It's my fault. And you're like, God,
kids are so fucking dumb.
So then we cut. Kids are really. So then we cut back to him wandering around the woods, and he stumbles upon a Boy Scout campsite where this little fat kid just snuggles up into his sleeping bag, and that someone jumps out. So you think it's going to be the clown getting him, but it's just some kid who's like, "Hey, you left your plate out by the fire. You need to go clean that up." And then the other kid in his tent's like, "Hey, don't get lost." And so he goes wandering for a stream, I guess, to go wash his plate in. So this chubby little Boy Scout is roaming around the woods, and he stumbles upon Evil Clown, who just looks like a homeless person, and is like, "Hey, do you have any food?" And and the only way this would work is because if they had a fat kid, because he pulls a snack out of his pocket.
Yeah. You don't actually get to see what it is.
No.
It's just like, I've got these, and pulls an indeterminate thing out of pocket.
And so he goes to give it to the clown, and the clown bites his fingers off instead, which... This kid was the first instance of super terrible acting, because he got his fingers bitten off, and he's just like
ah, and runs away.
And he just runs away.
So what we didn't mention earlier was when the wife pulls the nose off, the dog eats it.
Oh yeah. Oh
The dog eats the nose, and we're like, oh God, is he going to turn into an evil demon clown dog? Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
His wife becomes an evil clown hunter. She goes to track him down.
Along with the help from the crazy guy who busts out of the hospital.
With his jaw wired shut.
Yeah, because I guess he broke his jaw in the...
Which he then unwires at the dining room table in their house.
Yeah.
And... Yep. I just want to know why she didn't help him as a medical
because that's what she does. No, all she does is pull noses off of people.
Yeah. Also, the clown suit gives you a fucking ripped bod. Mm-hmm. He got abs after he
suddenly had abs
after he killed his first child.
He's a ripped realtor now.
Which I was really sad about the first kid that got killed because he was really sweet.
Yeah, there was this really nice kid. Okay, so he goes to one of the properties that he's trying to sell. And gets in using his realtor code from the key box, and he tries to shoot himself in the mouth to kill himself, which he should know won't work because the crazy guy was decapitation is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So he blows the back of his head off, but the blood splatter on the wall behind him is fucking rainbow colored.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. It's just so weird that there are some obviously funny things that they throw in.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie, for the most part, takes itself pretty seriously.
Yeah.
So... There's tonal issues.
So at this point, too, also, when she finds him, and she doesn't know that he just ate this kid.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm pregnant. Please come home. And the first thing I said is, I want him to eat that unborn child. And
my reaction to that was, there's no way they'll do that.
And they kept teasing the whole movie about him eating this unborn child.
They did a couple times. It wasn't like constant.
No, but it was enough to make me want some lady to have her uterus ripped open.
There was at one point, we'll skip forward a little bit, he's eaten 4 children.
Yeah.
And he goes back to their house to get the son, whose birthday it was at the beginning of the movie. And she rushes back to the house to stop him. And so he's got her cornered in the garage, and the kid's, like, hiding somewhere. And he, like, the camera goes to, like, her midsection, and he, like, digs his claws into her abdomen. And Casey's super excited. She's like, oh my god, he's gonna fucking eat the fetus. And I'm like, well, he should at this point. That's the quickest route to getting your 5th child, because that's what the demon wants. He wants his 5 children. But instead, the wife screams, what's the kid's name, Jack?
Yeah.
She screams, Jack, run! And he's like, oh yeah, Jack. And goes after the other fucking kid.
Yeah. But also, that was probably the biggest point of terrible acting, because you just had a demon reach into your abdomen, and she's just like, oh, no.
Yeah. When we say terrible acting, we're talking about the wife in this movie.
Yeah.
She wasn't a good actress. And she's been in all the things that everybody's been in. She's been in, like, NCIS and CSI and Grey's Anatomy and all that shit. And she's been in a few movies, and there was some series that I think she had a lead role in for the first couple series, but I don't remember which one it was.
The 4400.
The 4400. I was going to say it was one of those shows that the title isn't number.
Yeah. No, that was the 4400.
Thanks, 24.
But before they get home, they ask themselves, where would a clown hide at 7 p.m. on a Thursday night?
And at this point, he's only eaten 2 kids when they ask.
Yeah.
This.
So they go to Chuck E. Cheese. And not like some knockoff Chuck E. Cheese.
They're at an actual Chuck E. Cheese.
It seriously felt like there was a spider on me.
It's okay.
Okay. Oh, there was a spider on me.
No.
Yes, there was. I just brushed it off.
It was hiding in your tattoo. You just brushed it off onto me, probably.
I don't care. You have clothes on.
Spooky.
there's spiders.
Yeah, so they go to an actual Chuck E. Cheese. Like, they don't show the sign, but you can see it in the... there's a shot where the camera's looking at the wife and the crazy guy through the windshield of their car, like their van, and reflected on the windshield backwards, you can see the Chuck E. Cheese logo.
Yeah.
They're at a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. So, he's just feasting on children in the tunnels.
Like, he got one in the ball pit.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess ate the kid underneath the balls so that nobody could see.
Yeah.
Ate the kid in the ball pit underneath the balls in the ball pit. He didn't just, like, eat the kid from the balls down. But
because
he might have. We didn't get to see that kid.
No, but the first kill was the sad guy. Oh.
Yeah, we didn't do it fast enough.
Okay.
We're back. Okay. Slight interruption.
Yeah, slight interruption. So we were talking about they were at Chuck E. Cheese, which was pretty freaking funny.
Yeah, we were talking about how you got one kid in the ball pit.
Yeah, one kid in the ball pit, and then got the other kid in the tunnels.
Mm.
And so then people and then the arm and blood come down the slide.
Yeah, which was, I mean, honestly, kind of funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. So
it wasn't supposed to be.
Everyone's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And they're like, which I guess they have an emergency protocol at Chuck E. Cheese if shit goes down, because there was fucking security lights flashing and stuff.
I guess.
The demon talks to the wife and is like, I need another child.
Yeah, he's like, bring me one more child.
And she left creepy warehouse guy to look like with an axe in his hand,
a bloody axe,
to make it look like, and so it looked like he did it, and I was like, oh, I kind of liked warehouse guy.
Yeah, and then when like, a little bit later on, when she's sitting in her car, you can hear on the radio that they're talking about they have one suspect in custody.
Yeah,
and it's that guy.
Well, so she's outside in the midst of all these screaming, running around children, trying to pick one out.
Yeah.
And at first she goes for the black kid, and I was like, oh, not the black kid.
Well, there's one kid that's just standing alone looking around.
And then his mother runs up.
And she's like, oh, fuck, well, I can't take this one now.
Yeah. And so she's about to leave when opportunity presents itself.
Yeah.
And this little girl who's like, I know you from my dentist's office, comes up, and she's like,
you were so nice all the time.
And she just kept saying how nice she was,
just
to
over and over
make her
again saying
feel
how nice
super bad about kidnapping her.
It made me feel bad, and I wasn't even kidnapping her.
And the demon said to meet in their favorite spot, which is a creepy lake.
Yeah, it's like this rickety dock at some creepy lake.
At some creepy lake, and so she pushes... She locks the kid out of the car because the kid's asleep. So she's like, okay, bye, thanks for the ride. And then she's like, this isn't my house!
Oh my god. And so she's like pounding on the door, trying to get her to open the door. And finally she gives in and she feels too guilty. And she opens the door and she's like, get in, it's not safe out there.
But the little girl's like, no, you just left me out here. And then the cops roll up. So you're like, oh, this doesn't look good for anybody.
And that he had said... if she didn't bring him a kid, he was going to go for the son.
Yeah.
And so she goes back to the house, which is where she left their kid with her dad. And she talked to him on the phone and said, do not take him home. Specifically those words, don't take him home.
So Grandpa takes him home.
So Grandpa takes him home because he's dumb as shit. And so she goes there, I think hoping that Grandpa didn't take the kid home, but knowing that that's where the demon was going to go.
Yeah.
But then she sees the car in the driveway and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then Grandpa had found, like, bones and blood in the garage. And he's like, assumes that the dad murdered somebody. And he's like, I'll help you cover it up.
Yeah. He's like, again, just trying to, like, justify the situation, which he's a great fucking parent.
I guess.
He's like, I'll do whatever it takes for you. And then he gets his jaw ripped off. So I was like, aw, Grandpa was just trying to help.
Yeah,
so
by
now...
the demon, by the way. It's just not like randomly his jaw comes off.
No, by the demon. So then you're like, oh shit, everybody's in the house.
And this is the point where the demon corners the wife in the garage.
Jack's hiding under the stairs in the basement. Mm-hmm. And so he pushes... like
the demon.
The demon pushes like the washing machine in front of the crawl space hole, so he's trapped and fucking comes right through the fucking stairs.
Yeah.
But
and
Mom
then in the
comes
next shot, yeah.
Oh, but then in the next shot, Jack's out.
He's out of the stairs.
He's like a tiny 7-year-old kid.
He got out of the stairs past the clown, and he's fine.
He's just standing in the corner observing his mom chaining up the clown dad demon.
And I didn't catch the thing where he pushed the... like, I remember it happening after you told me, but, like, I hadn't registered that that's what he was doing. He was blocking him in. He was cutting off his escape route from the stairs. Mm-hmm. And he still escaped.
Yeah.
But we don't see how.
Nope, no idea.
It's weird.
Yeah, so Mom chains him up and knocks his head off with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Because she cut his throat, so the chain is, like, stuck in his throat at this point. And he's pulling against it.
Yeah.
So then she just takes a sledgehammer, and I guess that apparently...
she hits his head, and the head comes off.
But not the whole way, because you have to have one more scare left in there.
Right, yeah, it's hanging on by a little thread of skin, and since it's still technically attached, the demon can still control the body.
Yeah.
And so she grabs it with her hands.
And just like...
and just puts her foot on the body and just wrenches it off.
But actually, I think besides the rainbow-colored... vomit and blood, I think the last effect in that movie was my favorite, because the demon's body starts liquefying and like bubbling and gets pussy, while the demon's face slides off and you can see the dad's head in there. Which and you see his face.
Super fucked up.
Yeah.
So that was I think that was a really effective moment. It was cool, and the effect looked good.
Yeah. And then the cops show up and end credits.
Yeah.
Yep, that was it.
They just cut... well, no, the cops show up, and then we see the suit, the costume.
Oh,
in an
I forgot
tub
at the
police station.
Because they're bagging everything up.
Uh-huh.
And I was like...
credits.
and it's funny, because I was like, they're going to try and set this shit up for a sequel, aren't they?
I don't think that they would ever do a sequel, and I don't think that they were planning on doing a sequel, but they had to show that they didn't finally defeat the monster.
Yeah, the beast is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was Clown. And as I said before, I thought it was a jovial romp. It was the right amount of gore.
I still think that's a really inappropriate term.
It didn't I think you said earlier it tried to take itself seriously.
It did, but then at other times there were things in the movie that were quite obviously going to be hilarious.
Like the rainbow colored blood and vomit.
Yeah. That was a little bit weird, and it was kind of jarring every time it happened, because other than that, it was kind of just trying to be suspenseful and kind of serious.
Yeah.
I think that they would have been served way better if they made it a little bit funnier overall.
Add a little bit more humor.
Or took out the fact that the blood and vomit were rainbow colored. Like, if they did that, any slight humor in it could be explained away, because life's funny. But that had to be done for comedic effect. There's no other reason. I don't know. Honestly, though, if
you don't want to say something, you don't want to suggest people watch it.
Well, here's the thing. I wouldn't suggest that just anybody watch it. And like I said, right after we finished watching it, I would recommend that anybody who wants to watch a cheesy horror movie
with good effects,
yeah, with good effects, and doesn't mind sitting through bad acting for the sake of possibly making fun of it. Mm-hmm. This is a movie that would be good for that, but I'm not going to say this is your movie. It's not the best movie of that kind that I've seen even recently, probably, but it's fun. If you get a chance to watch it, I would say don't pass it up.
Yeah.
If you like that kind of
But like
thing.
we said earlier, if you just want to skip ahead to 23:45 and just know dude's in a possessed demon suit, you can just...
the first 20 minutes was a little slow.
It's just you're just building up background.
Yeah, and you can see where it's going immediately. Like, right off the bat, you're like, okay, he's not going to be able to get this suit off. There's something demonic about it. Mm-hmm. Start the story.
Yeah.
The movie could have been about 10 minutes shorter.
I think the scene at the house where Grandpa was setting up the swing set,
that could have been cut.
Yeah,
there was no reason.
There was
for that
no
to
reason for that other than to try and build suspense.
There were definitely some scenes, not necessarily entire scenes most of the time, but there were some things that happened that really didn't need to. Mm-hmm. That I feel like they just kept in there to keep it around the hour and a half runtime. Mm-hmm.
For a horror movie, I still stand by Jovial Romp, but I would not watch it again. But I'm glad that I watched it.
Yeah. I don't regret it at all. It was fun. I don't need to see it again.
Yep.
But, yeah, watch it once. Yeah. Rent it.
Yeah. Number 1 is down. We have 12 more to go. And we're super excited. We hope that you stick around with us and you enjoy.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.